We all want our bodies just to burn body fat all day long. If you want to get lean, if you want to lose weight, you have to program your metabolism, your body, to burn body fat. So in this video, I'm going to go over 3 specific strategies that you can use that's going to get you on track to become a much better fat burner. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is 𝙒𝘏𝙏𝙏. I've been a fitness trainer and gym owner for over 30 years. I've helped thousands of people lose weight and just get into amazing shape. Now, if you want to become a better fat burner, what you should focus on is keeping your insulin levels low. See, insulin is the storage hormone. When insulin is elevated in the body, you're not burning any fat. You're storing away excess calories. Like whenever you eat food, especially carbohydrates, your blood sugar is increased. The pancreas produces insulin to control blood sugar and to store away excess calories. So the main strategy should be to keep insulin levels low if you want your body to become, if you want your metabolism to be a much better fat burner. So let's go over some strategies. Let's go over 3 different strategies that can help you keep insulin levels low throughout the day and make you a much better fat burner. Now, the first strategy, which I actually love, is called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting just means that you're going to cycle between periods of eating and not eating. See, most people, when they go to sleep at night, as long as they don't wake up and grab some food, they're in a fasted state. When you're in a fasted state, insulin levels are extremely low. So what are you doing? You're burning body fat. There's actually an inverse hormone to insulin called glucagon. So for example, when insulin levels are low, insulin, the storage hormone, right? Glucagon is the hormone that releases fat to be burnt. So when you're in a fasted state, insulin is low, glucagon is high. Ideal situation, ideal environment for fat burning. That's why fasting, intermittent fasting works so well. And let's go over some basic protocols, some intermittent fasting protocols that I think you can start using actually tomorrow or right after watching this video. The most popular one is probably 16-8, where you fast for 16 hours and then you take in all your calories within a short eating window, an 8-hour eating window. So for example, say you wake up in the morning, you skip breakfast, right? You're allowed to have like no calorie type liquids during your fasting period, your fasting window. You can have black coffee, green tea, like mineral water, anything without calories. And let's say you break your fast at 12 in the afternoon, you have your first meal, and then you have your last meal before 8 in the evening. So you fasted for 16 hours, you kept insulin levels low, glucagon started creeping up, ideal fat burning state. Now, a second strategy to keep insulin levels low is just to eat a low carbohydrate diet. Now, the 4 basic macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. See, out of all 3 of those macronutrients, carbohydrates will spike blood sugar and will spike, like increase insulin the most. So just by eating a low carbohydrate diet, you're going to keep insulin levels under control. Okay. Now all carbohydrates also are not created equal. Like more sugary type carbohydrates, like bagels, cereals, just processed food, high fructose corn syrup will spike sugar a lot and will really increase your insulin levels. There's something called the glycemic index, which measures how quickly, carbohydrates and sugars increase blood sugar. So you want to eat a low carbohydrate diet, and the type of carbohydrates you want to eat should be low glycemic. For example, like vegetables, high fiber, low sugar type carbohydrates, those are the best. They're very low on the glycemic index scale. Plus, they're really healthy for you, and they don't give you big spikes in insulin. And this is my general rule. If you weigh less than 150 pounds, try to eat like 50 grams or less of carbohydrates a day. If you're a bigger person, say you're 200 pounds, you can maybe go up to say 100 grams of carbohydrates per day. There's 4 calories per gram. So if, say, you're 200 pounds and you're striving to only eat 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, you'd be eating, say, 400 calories of high fiber type vegetables. But another general I would say is that just improve upon where you're coming from. So for example, if you're eating like 5, 6 meals a day and you're eating 400 grams of carbohydrates a day, just start reducing it. Okay. And if you start intermittent fasting, like I talked about in strategy 1, you automatically, in my opinion, are going to be reducing your calories and reducing your carbohydrates just by following, say, a 16-8 intermittent fasting protocol. And there's other intermittent fasting protocols you can follow too. If you don't want to do a 16-8, you can try a 24-hour fast once a week. That's another great strategy. If you don't want to do 16-8, you can do something called an OMAD, 1 meal a day. You can fast for, say, 22 hours and then take in all your calories in, say, just a 2-hour eating window. These are all incredible strategies to keep insulin levels low, to reduce your carbohydrates, and actually to reduce your calories as well. Now, the third and final strategy, which I think really helps control insulin levels, is getting an adequate amount of sleep. And I know this may not make sense at first, but what happens when you're sleep deprived? Say you're only sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, you automatically become insulin resistant. What that means is that the pancreas is producing insulin, but your body, your cells are just not responding to it. And this happened to me recently. I recently, just barely slept. I only got like 2-3 hours of sleep. I woke up in the morning. I typically, fast for at least 16 hours. Like, it's easy for me. Some days I fast for 24, 36 hours and I'm not even hungry. And that's when I'm sleeping well. But when I only slept for 3-4 hours, I woke up in the morning, I was starving. I was tired. I was craving carbohydrates. So I was temporarily insulin resistant, and I was just craving carbohydrates. And even if I ate carbohydrates, if I'm insulin resistant, the body wouldn't process them properly. They wouldn't store them away properly, and they can easily be turned into body fat triglycerides. So you really want to get an adequate amount of sleep. So let's review the 3 basic strategies that you're going to use to keep insulin levels under control and to become a much better fat burner. Number 1, you're going to experiment with intermittent fasting. Maybe you do a 16-8, maybe you do a 20-hour fast, maybe you do a 24-hour fast once a week. Experiment, see what fits into your lifestyle. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to minimize the amount of carbohydrates you are eating. If you weigh 150 pounds, less than 50 grams a day. If you say 200 pounds, try to stay under 100 grams of carbs a day. And most of your carbohydrates are going to come in the form of high fiber type vegetables. And the third thing you're going to do is you're going to try to really get a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Do this for about a month, and I guarantee you're going to see a big difference. You ever hear the term fat adapted? You're going to become a much better fat burner, and then you're going to have the metabolic flexibility to even go off your diet from time to time and still maintaining this enhanced fat burning capabilities. Okay. And if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting, check out this playlist of videos I have right above me.